There are many reasons San Francisco is one of the most important drink cities, not just in the US, but the world. The bar scenes, cocktails, quote, mainstreaming back in the mid-1800s, that happened here. Just drink alone, we have deep pioneering roots in all forms of drink. Part of it is that spirit of the West. People pioneered, they gave up everything to come out here from wherever they came from. That includes all the people that came from China and Asia and built our railroads, and the strong sub-Peruvian culture we have that sailed all the way up from South America. So it's a port city, it's the West, it's a pioneering city, it's an international city. We were Mexico, we're the Wild West, or it's the gold rush. People got rich quick. They came here to find dreams, establish dreams, lose dreams. So we have all those reputations. It's got these deep churning roots.
With so many places to have an amazing cocktail in San Francisco, the first question that comes to mind is, where do I even begin? Lucky for us, we have the right person to show us around San Francisco and discuss the cocktail scene. She has traveled all over the world, highlighting over 11,000 restaurants and 22,000 bars. She also lives in San Francisco, covering the cocktail renaissance for over 20 years. If there is anyone that is going to show us the best San Francisco has to offer, it's Virginia Miller, travel writer and founder of the blog, The Perfect Spot.
If I had a choice of who I'd want to tour San Francisco around with for drink and for food and for culture, there's only one person I can think about, is longtime friend Virginia Miller.
Well, I heard you were going around with Virginia.
Yes.
I am jealous because that's actually who I would want to be my guide.
She's kind of behind the scenes in a lot of things that I respect.
She started out with a tiny little blog. She cultivated and worked her way up.
Virginia is so talented at what she does, from being a writer and just really just being a worldly person.
She's just absolutely just lovely, just so warm.
She's like old school San Francisco, and she knows all the old spots. She knows all the old stool bartenders.
She's also just likes a spectrum from the grimiest of dive bars to the finest of dining, so she'll give you a good tour.
So this is the famous Lombard Street, and this is pretty cool.
Yes.
But I know when we first started Virginia that I asked for a coffee. I'm like, I had to get going, I have to get a coffee. And you told me about this amazing place called Buena Vista.
Yes.
I was served an Irish coffee, which is absolutely phenomenal. Tell me a little bit more about the history and the Irish coffee at Buena Vista.
So Buena Vista opened in 1916, but
Yeah.
in 1952 was when they basically perfected the Irish coffee and brought it to America.
Yeah.
So Buena Vista is very famous for this.
Yeah.
And some say even the way the foam sits just on the top of the coffee, that
Yeah.
was literally created there
Yeah.
in the 50s. So they serve hundreds, if not in the over 1,000 mark a day. Tourists come all day long.
Yeah.
You saw 9 a.m.
I know.
People are there having breakfast, drinking Irish coffees.
Yeah.
The best part is you'll get some guy that's been bartending for 50 years and just making Irish coffees all day long. So it's legendary,
It is.
and it's a special spot.
You know, that was a great time, a great way to start your day with a great Irish coffee from that
I
place.
figured when you said coffee and we're here doing a cocktail episode, Buena Vista, it's it.
It's how you have to start your day.
It's one of our many legendary bar treasures, but that one is the best Irish coffee.
Yeah. What's great is like you said, San Francisco is 7 miles by 7 miles, and you got these pockets, these different neighborhoods. So we were just, I mean, literally over at Fisherman's Wharf, not too far away. Now we're heading in North Beach.
Yes, this historically is our Italian neighborhood. Some of the best dive bars and historic bars are in this neighborhood. One of our most quintessential San Francisco neighborhoods, Cafe Trieste. It was the first espresso bar in America. Besides the Italian culture and history, it is very famous for its beat poet history. And then this is where Jack Kerouac, Ginsberg, all the beat poets would hang out all the time. It was a big neighborhood for jazz poets, comedy.
Vesuvio is one of the legendary dive bars I mentioned. It's quirky, it's wonderful. You've got all the little upstairs area.
Classy marketing.
Classy sign, yep,
Yeah.
since 1948, there it is.
As you can see, the atmosphere is very special. It's unlike anything else. Really, right, I think since the early 50s, it really became the hangout
Yeah.
for bohemians and poets and writers and artists and activists and musicians, all of that. It was just that kind of bar.
As soon as I walked in, I was like, wow. And it's not, like you said, the history. It definitely represents the history of even, going back 70, 80 years, through the decor. I mean, so the ambiance is really cool. Definitely speaks dive to me. We went from coffee, cafe, Italy, and now on the other side of this is Chinatown. Literally, it's like stepping into a whole new world.
And that's the joy of San Francisco, that collision of cultures and changes from block to block.
When we were originally thinking about this episode, I can't do an episode with 10 bartenders. That will be way too much. So I actually asked you to narrow it down to 3, and Kevin was one of them. What makes Kevin special in the bartending world?
One of them certainly is his cocktails. They are innovative, they are creative, and they are delicious.
Well, Kevin is king. Most people know that.
Quality is fantastic. His execution is wonderful. He really gets customer service.
He's very hospitality first, always makes you feel at home.
And every time you join, it's just wonderful, wonderful feeling.
And he's also always experimenting with really wild flavors.
He's great at it. He's great. I have a huge amount of respect for him.
He's been at it for a long time and still looks younger than me.
How did you get into this?
Wow, so I had a normal 9-to-5 job. I was working IT when I was like 19, 20, 21. And my best friend was a DJ and the girl I was dating was a bartender. And I got really bored of the tech world and I saw all my friends having all this fun at night and I was like, I want to be a bartender. So I went to bartending school, got my foot in the door. I worked at the Ritz, which helped me with a lot of learning about hospitality and learning about how verbiage and how to greet guests and kind of the fine dining aspects. Yeah. And then nightclub bartending taught me actually how to bartend. But it was like kind of the party mode, so it was this nice balance of between having something really nice and refined and then actually learning how to bartend. I always say you learn how to bartend in like dive bars and nightclubs. That's how you interact with people and you learn how to do stuff in volume. Cocktail that would best embody San Francisco, something that I've created personally. I think about being close to the Pacific. I think about what our guests enjoy, spirit-driven. And for me and what we kind of represent is tropical flavors. I create a cocktail called the Leeward Negroni. So we take Campari and wash it with coconut oil. And then we make Pandan cordial, which is a Southeast Asian leaf that gives off this kind of like buttery, popcorn, nutty flavor. A little bit of overproof gin. And in true Negroni fashion, I tried to keep it to 3 ingredients and stirred. So what you're left is this awesome kind of silky bodied Negroni that's still spirit forward, but with tropical flavors. I wanted to be in the right place at the right time and surround myself with super uber talented people. Because just like in sports, you have to, in order to get better, you have to surround yourself with people that are extremely better, and scarily better than you are. And that's what I wanted to do. I did my research and I was like, San Francisco is the place to be. I just bought a one-way ticket and packed a bag and ended up here. We have a melting bed of flavors and cultures here. Easy access to an amazing abundance of citrus and fruit. And we're a drinking city. People come here and they know exactly what they want. We're in the experience business and the relationship business. The drinks are kind of the salt and pepper we get to do. It gets people in the door, but with people coming back is the experience and what we have to offer in terms of the ambience and how people feel when they come and how they feel when they leave.
You always hear the big names of cocktail capitals of the world, London, New York, San Francisco. I mean, is that really the reason why it would be? Because you get all these different, you get this melting pot of different cultures?
I think for drinks, it's many of those other aspects.
Yeah.
Like certainly a port city, an original founding of the Spanish missions. And then you have the gold rush and everybody coming for that opportunity. It's kind of just had this Wild West, far outpost kind of vibe from the beginning. Yeah. There's deep Mexican roots and we were part of Mexico, back in the day.
Yeah.
Then we have legends like Tommy's and what Julio Bermejo has been doing for decades for agave spirit, no one in the country has been doing. I think for San Francisco, the uniqueness is kind of that wild, push the boundaries, free spirit, but I also think it's always been a place of innovation and trying something new.
The episode's called Drink Destinations San Francisco.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, we had to cross over the Bay Bridge
Yes.
and come on the Oakland side because I think there would be a lot of people that would be pissed off in the industry if I did not talk about you.
She's a pioneer and a legend already. She's done some pretty stellar things for this industry.
Jen's awesome. Always been really progressive, not just in style of cocktailing, but the way she runs the place.
She started her company Small Hand Foods and make the best bottled orgeat on the market, period.
So she really brought that whole nother level of entrepreneurship outside of the bar world, within the bar world. It's really cool.
And she does really unique sections in the menu, like drinking traditions around the world.
From the things that she did under the Long Now Foundation at the Interval to her new bar in Oakland, to just doing some really cool things.
I think the episode's now, like we were talking, is gonna be called Drink Destinations Bay Area.
That sounds great. I went to bartending school in LA when I was 21 years old. I was also like really into furniture and into art and stuff. Aside from when I was a full-time cabinet maker, every time else when I was back in school, I would support myself by bartending. I kind of inadvertently stumbled into my syrup company, Small Hand Foods. It was really just this fun way of exploring, and I love to cook. I had a huge sweet tooth when I was a kid, and I used to make candy.
What embodies kind of the Bay Area?
I mean, it has to be the Mai Tai,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, so the traditional Mai Tai was created in 1944 at the original Trader Vic's. But Trader Vic was kind of the Bay Area's major tiki influence, and he owned a bar there called Hinky Dinks.
Okay.
And then when Don the Beachcomber opened up Don the Beachcomber down in LA, Vic Bergeron went down there, checked out what he was doing, came back and said, we're changing this. Mai Tai is squeeze the lime half into a jigger and then put that into the tins. We're doing 3/4 ounce of lime juice, and then we're doing a 1/2 ounce of Cointreau, a 1/2 ounce of orgeat, which is this almond syrup, and then an 1.5 ounces of rum. I really like using the Appleton. Then I just shake everything over ice, and then we do what's called a dirty dump, where we dump everything into the glass rather than most shaken drinks. Because you're going to be breaking up the ice as you shake it, you will strain it over fresh ice. Then the traditional garnish, you have to prop up the spent lime half and then put a sprig of mint, and it's supposed to look like a deserted island with a palm tree. One of the things that has been talked about for a while that we're now starting to see more of is an actual concentration on hospitality.
Me and Virginia were walking down through the streets of San Francisco, and one of the things we said is, I would rather have an average drink with better service and experience than a great one with lack of that. You know what I mean? And I think that's so important.
I mean, that's the thing I concentrate on constantly here. Part of good customer service is making all kinds of people feel comfortable.
Does San Francisco have a drinking problem?
I think we have a drinking history.
Drinking history, I like that. I like that better.
In this seedy little alley is really one of my favorite bars anywhere in the world. And it's right where you see the Bosque Hotel 15 Romolo. This bar, it has over 700 spirits. They have superb cocktails. It has been a pioneering sherry bar, and they have one of the country's biggest sherry collections and have had for many years. It's a sherry haven, and they do every kind of style. Dry, refreshing, light, easy, aperitif-y. Really one of my all-time favorites.
I would have walked right past the street, and there's nothing, I mean, again, I would be thrown off because I look up there and say, I'm not walking up that.
It's to me the best of that old world, low-key vibe, but the cocktails are excellent.
Went to North Beach, went to Chinatown. Now we're where?
We're downtown.
We're downtown.
Housing some of our great bars.
Yeah.
Benjamin Cooper's just a treasure, and it's in large part to Brian and Mo, but they also just have superb bartenders.
I gave you the daunting task of narrowing down, 3 bartenders. I know that's tough. And we're doing one episode. Now I want to do 10, 15 episodes and highlight everybody because there's so many amazing people here in San Francisco.
So many more. I'd love to show you.
I know,
Yes.
I know. Now we've got this person that's super creative. I've heard his name come about in different cities in the United States. His name is Nick. Why did you choose Nick as one of the three?
Nick is one of those, I think, just visionaries. He's kind of had that palette off the bat. Every time I would just be blown away by the cocktails. These were creative, elegant, mind-blowing. You know, you're gonna see things like fermented Shinko tonic and really interesting wines and rancio wines and all these things in his cocktails. And yet, again, you go there, it's fun, it's cool, it's chill. He's really got a unique vision. So that's why I had to choose Nick.
I've always sort of worked in service. My parents owned a bakery when I was a child. I didn't know if I truly embraced it as being part of the hospitality world, but I didn't really get it too when I was little. But it was sort of, hospitality was always a job I was in, and I've now been in many different levels, from neighborhood bars, dive bars, cocktail bars, to fine dining Michelin stars. This is our My Oh My, kind of one of our house staples. So we take what was the Trader Vic's recipe. We use nice Blanc rum. We use an orgeat, but we make our own pistachio orgeat in-house. We then use some of those candy pistachios actually to go on some of our dishes on the food side. A little bit of lime, curacao. So essentially this is a milk punch. We're introducing the completed cocktail to some milk, and what happens is the milk then is curdled by the alcohol content and the citrus content. We then are essentially separating the whey from the curds. The whey goes with the cocktail, the curds stay behind, and we pass them through the curds one more time, and what you get is ultimate beautiful clarity at the bottom there. And then on top is what you have is a classic dark rum float that's been infused with some coffee. Well, San Francisco is special to me because it's home. I was born here, I've lived throughout the Bay. In the drink world, we have a lot of history. It's obviously a drinking town, but with the Barbary Coast and everything, a lot of classic cocktails were actually invented here. And more importantly, it's a warm city. Maybe not temperature-wise, but the people are nice. And the way that it's shaped and the way that it's formatted, I know when people visit here, they're always mesmerized by San Francisco because you can literally walk places. You can hit 10 different bars in a night easily and feel like you're in different neighborhoods, meeting different people, and seeing really like the landscape of San Francisco. It's beautiful. Who Got Purple? It's a little Bay Area reference for anyone out there. We're always looking at pairings here. This is a pairing of Concord grape and tarragon. So we took that flavor, and then we knew that apples would play nice, so the base spirit we chose is Calvados, French apple brandy. You have a bunch of different wines in there as well. There's some Australian Shiraz, a little Pinot de Charente, a little bit of Iraq, some lime. The whole drink is centrifuged to clarity. It's really nice. I find that San Francisco's scene is somewhat humble. It's got a delicate approach, and we're also always trying to be innovative, always trying to be sort of ahead of the curve, I guess. And there are some people doing some really outstanding things here in this city. Our approach here is we really want the guests to get their drink fast. We want to see the delicate touches put on in front of them, but we're not trying to give them a whole smoke and mirrors show. Yeah. Even though if they saw maybe what the techniques that got put into the drink, they'd be wowed by it. That's not our job here. Our job is to create a comfortable environment, give you a good drink so you can talk with your friends and your bartender and have a good time.
I think about this, if I would have came to the city by myself, I would have been like, where the hell do I start? In fact, I probably wouldn't even came close to amount of bars and meet the amazing bartenders that you introduced me to. And I'm honored that you took the time to be able to do that for me and for the people watching. My tradition is always to give a bottle from my travels. With that being said, I want to pass on this lovely gin from Inverroche. Please tell me that you don't have this in your arsenal.
I don't, and this is the crazy part. I am impossible to stump sometimes with these things. I'm excited.
Virginia, again,
I love it.
Thank you
Jeff.
so
Thank you.
much for everything. We learned so much. When I think of San Francisco's drinking culture, it truly is an offshoot of the amazing San Francisco culinary scene. Bartenders, like chefs, create what I call farm to glass, which enhances every flavor using fresh, seasonal, and local ingredients for bartenders to make the most amazing cocktails. Add hospitality and a great experience, and you have one of the greatest cocktail cities of the world. Don't ever lose your sense of discovery, San Francisco, as the New Age saloons still carry that history of the wild, wild west.